All right, this is what it is, man. We're doing little quarantine conversations going on. I got one of my favorite MCs. I'm not just saying it because he's here. I mean, I go way back with my man ever since the Adidas, ever since, the Dungeon Fam, and even now he's part of one of the premier hip hop groups that's going on right now, Run the Jewels. I got one half of the crew right here, Mr. Killer Mike. What's going on, my brother?
Man, what's up? How y'all doing out there? I'm happy. Greenville, shouts out to my family, the Longs that are out there, all the surrounding areas like Commerce and stuff. So it's always good to talk to the hometown.
Exactly, man. I mean, you were here not too long ago. You were, promoting Bernie Sanders. We got a chance to meet.
Yeah, I was with the Sanders campaign. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was trying to see if I could get a pair of shoes out of somebody out there, and it didn't seem to happen. But I got some good knowledge. I mean, you're one of the few MCs that can be on late night TV shows, can be on CNN, it can be on the corner, it can be anywhere, and give us great conversation. So I don't even know where to start, but I will start with this amazing album, Run the Jewels 4, man. How'd that all come about?
Thank you. So for those who might not be aware, after I stopped working with Equipment Eye Records, I launched Grind Time Rap Game, GTR GBBB, Grind Time Rap Game, Bang Bang Bang. As an underground, we partnered with SMC, a label out of the Bay, and we put out I Pledge Allegiance to the Grind 1, 2, and 3. Right. And after the third, I Pledge Allegiance to the Grind, I was approached by a guy named Jason DeMarco from the Cartoon Network, who's a VP over there, to say, hey, I want you to make your America's Most Wanted, your death certificate, a record where you can say anything you want to say, as loud and wild as you want to say it. And he put me in a room with a guy named LP. We made a classic album, and that album is titled Rap Music, Rebellious African People's Music. Yes. And that is judged as a classic then and now. And then we started making records together, and we became this group called Run the Jewels. And we have dropped 4 installments, 1, 2, 3, and 4, because in our opinion, like EPMD, like Outkast, like Led Zeppelin, the rock group, you have to have 4 classics to begin to even consider yourself a group. So this is our fourth album. It is our first above ground. And I don't mean like we've been doing festivals. We've been doing, we went from 200 to 300 people rooms to rocking 8,000 to 10,000 people rooms ourselves selling out to going out. We're going to open for Rage next year. But when I say it's a coming home of sorts, because now we got records playing on Black radio, and I'm gonna just be frank. to hear Ooh La La and to hear Just playing, and to have a good friend of mine and who's a fan of L's 2 Chainz jump up on Out of Sight. Those records feel good because a lot of people love Killer Mike and what he's done, and now they love Run the Jewels and what we're doing. And honestly, I don't think there's been a group to have the spread that we have, since you have to say Outkast or the Beastie Boys, because we touch a lot of different people for a lot of different reasons, and our songs go a lot of different places, and I'm very happy about that.
Definitely. I mean, you were right. He was from Nonfiction. You come from the Dungeon Fam, and you guys collab together. Who would have ever thought that would have happened back in the day? But we're definitely hip hop fans like myself. We're enjoying it. So that's what I think about that, man. We're giving us some great music. And I'm just going to paint a scene for you, Mike. I'm sitting there watching season 3 of Ozark. I don't want to get. I don't know about you. I mean, it been out since the spring, but everybody should know what happened.
If they ain't seen it, that's on them.
That's on them. I'm sitting there. My mind is like this. All of a sudden, old girl get a head blown off, and all of a sudden the beat comes on. And I'm like, So I grabbed my phone. I'm like, man, what the hell is this?
What is that?
This shit so quick. I said, yo, and I lie to you not. I've been playing. That's been probably since March. I've been playing that song Ooh La La since then.
We've been watching. I appreciate it. I got a call, interestingly enough, from a PD. And he was like, Mike, what's that song at the end of Ozark? Mind you, I hit him like a week or 2 earlier, like, hey, we have a record. I think it's something that's playable, because I know a lot of our music hadn't been playable, you know what I mean, in terms of
I guess,
so I never expected I could be friends with PDs and DJs. I could still show up, support events, but I understood, my record's probably not gonna play, some of the Run the Jewels records here. But man, he said, I heard this record at the end of Ozark. He's like, yo, I want to put it in. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I could have not paid my radio rep this month if I didn't know Ozark was going to do that well. But so I appreciate the TV show. But for those folks who may think they're unfamiliar with Run the Jewels just as a sound, if you heard the Black Panther Cadillac commercial, that was our music in there. Okay. If you watch a bunch of Netflix and watch a bunch of movies, they use a bunch of our music before and during and after. So we've been blessed to be like a very heavily licensed group. And like I say, man, I'm glad I came up to the Dungeon Family and Outkast system, because I got a chance to understand that, that in this industry, if you perform like an act that's going to have a 20, 30, 40-year career, it'll reward you that way. And we have we've done a heck of a job in making quality music, giving dope quality shows. And I feel good, like I say, to return to the radio with, people who chocolate. It's good to be on the side.
Well, we're supporting it. We love the record. I personally love the record, and being a music director, I had to use my influence a little bit, but still,
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
It's a great record. And speaking of great records, Run the Jewels 4 is out, and like I said, being the hip hop nerd I am, when I saw Zach De La Rocha was on the song, I said, "Whoa, what?
Yeah,
that can't be the real one. It must be another."
Yeah.
One. I mean, Pharrell. I mean, a lot of headweights on this song. Can we go ahead and talk about
on the same record?
On the same
Pharrell
record.
And Zach on the same record. And so for those of you guys who know, man, Rage Against the Machine is one of the greatest rock group ever.
Yeah.
And you say rock group almost with the asterisk vibe because Zach is one of the most incredible MCs ever.
Yep.
So he's a front man for a rock group that happens to be one of the most talented MCs ever. And this is his third time appearing on Run the Jewels record. So, essentially it's like he's the unofficial third guy, man. But right. I love when Zach comes because we all tune in and turn up together. And there's a record called Just, J-U, money symbol T, just, so essentially meaning just money. And the hook is, look at all these slave masters posing on your dollars, and so, we have to understand that what money is, how it's used, how it's been used to enslave, how we lean on it, how we dependent on it, how it's good and bad. And I have a verse where I use a staggered Southern style, but I say a bunch of heavy stuff that you have to unpack. And then L comes in with that East Coast chop. He has one of my favorite lines on the album. He says, "Soon as you think you made it, they'll roll a grenade in the dugout." I was like, oh my God. He said, "As soon as you think you got all the bases loaded, they'll roll a grenade in the dugout." That's like, oh, nasty. And then Zach comes in and breaks it down. So it's a dope hip hop record. It's worthy of any cipher. The hook is as infectious, as happy or beautiful. And we just dropped an incredible lyric video for it. You can go to my page and check it out. And we're going to drop a real video as well. So that kind of talent. Then we got my partner, man, and again, a fan of L's, 2 Chainz is on Out of Sight, which is amazing. I would look for a visual for that. Chainz said, "Man, I buy a hot dog stand if I'm trying to be frank." That's another one of the lines on the album.
He always comes with bars like that, and people just they don't think that. I'm like, yo, he's nice.
Nah. Yeah. They let the jury get in their way of seeing that he's a genius MC. I've always knew Tit was dope. Then we have Josh Homme from the rock world and Mavis Staples from the soul and gospel.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And Mavis, on pulling the pen, Mavis literally just made the song cry. It's no other way to describe it. So we've been blessed, and we got people like DJ Swift from Outkast is on there. Their official tour DJ Trackstar come on there. Gangsta Boo shows up, give us an amazing hook on Walking in the Snow. Mr. MF and Esquire pops up. So we have a lot of people that are our personal friends and allies and comrades that come in and jumped it up. But we did get some bigger names this time, but it was all a lot of organic relationships versus us going out to seek, bigger names. So
true that. I mean, with the energy that you and LP get together, I would love to just be able to see how you guys put together a record. Because, I mean, just off the records you mentioned, I mean, do you just text them one day like, "Hey, yo, I got to join"? I mean, how's the process go together, man?
L goes away for some months and make him and Taco and Wilder, who are sort of brothers, and they're co-producers and amazing. They go catch a vibe with the music, and he usually brings back either from like 8 to 15 to 16 tracks. And we'll start going through the tracks, and like one will hit me or hit him, and we'll just go in, and that's it. That starts the process. So after months of him going and just putting it down, we get in a room together. We always are in a room together, and we get to work. And whoever gets inspired first goes in the booth first. And then it's just kind of painting, and then taking out what you don't need and putting in what you do need and building it. But it always starts with a vibe where we got to be in person. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's a great, and it shows because you guys are unlike a lot of groups that are out right now. I mean, you can kind of tell when the copy and paste collaborations get together.
Yeah.
The synergy, and someone saying like, we should get so-and-so on this record, and then it happens. So definitely want to wish you much success for more. I wish this COVID mess would be away so we could see you guys in person and see you on tour.
Yeah, we are a touring band, but with that said, man, I want people to live with this record while we all kind of inside. And I promise you, when the world opens back up next year, we're going to put on one of the greatest live shows y'all ever seen.
I'm definitely going to make sure I got the car full of gas. I don't care where it's going to be. If it's going to be in Georgia, Virginia, Tennessee,
no, you gotta come down to Atlanta.
I
want you to see it in Atlanta.
Yeah,
that way we can go to the flame out there.
Hey, I hope it's a pay week. You know what I'm saying? You know how it works out. So I hope it's a pay week. But I've seen your live show. Your live show is amazing. I saw you open up for Big Boy out of the Orange Peel in Asheville. You do an amazing show. I mean, now I can just imagine. I got to see you run the jewels together. I can just only imagine what it's like on stage.
Oh yeah, it gets crazy.
I bet it does. I'm not going to keep it too long, but like I said, you're one of the few MCs that can actually, can be on late night talk show, can get a press conference with the mayor during an unfortunate incident going on in the city. I mean, you do so much. You ran for office once, man.
I didn't really run. I didn't.
Okay, you didn't. Okay.
No. I wanted. No. If I would have ran, I would have won. I wanted. Yeah, absolutely. That's why I say plot, plan, strategize, organize, mobilize. What was happening is during that election, no one knew there was an election happening.
Okay.
So by me saying that, it just caused a lot of people to say, he's running, what for? And to know that there was an election. So the polls did get a higher increase. I don't know how much, but the polls went up some. But no, I don't want to run for office. I want to smoke weed and go to Blue Flame, and I want to support the people that should be in office and support. But no, I don't. I just wanted people to know to vote. Like, there's for African Americans in particular, I just looked up. So my great grandmother's mother was a slave, and she died a free woman. My great-grandmother taught me how to sew a button on a shirt. She died when I was like 10, 11 years old. So that's how close to slavery I am. The woman who taught me how to sew a button on a shirt was taught that by a woman who was born a slave. The way that I know Pearlie Mackey's name, who's my great-grandmother's mother, and my great-grandmother who I knew, Truzella, but the way I knew Pearlie's name, her children, her husband, is because in the census, even as property, she was counted. So it's important that we do things like partake. It's important we do things like partake in the census and as well participate in the voting process, because if the vote really didn't mean anything, they wouldn't try so hard locally to get you not to do it.
That's true.
So just know locally, your vote is as effective as a handgun and defending yourself against being robbed. Yeah, exactly. If you know how to use that gun, that it's going to be harder to rob you. So if you know how to use your vote and plot, plan, strategize, organize, and mobilize your vote, if you know how to do that, man, you're a dangerous person on the ground for anyone that's in opposition to your community. So I want people to focus on voting locally and to focus on supporting and running local candidates that care about you locally and that are not to be bought by lobbyists and national agendas.
And that's what we have a problem. Even in this area, we have a problem with people voting locally or people voting for the state offices and seats. And that's where we run into the issues and we get those people in office. It's like, man, how's he in there? Well, because you didn't vote. You just worried about the presidential election.
Yeah, exactly. And well, the thing is, the presidential election is a beauty pageant of sorts, right?
Right.
So they push the line on those, even though the Electoral College can still vote Trump in after Hillary wins by 3 million with the popular vote.
Yeah.
But if you look at a city like Atlanta, that's been a progressive, successful black city for 50 years, under 43 years of black mayoral leadership, our last mayor, Keisha, who's more than competent and has been more than credible on issues, she wins by 720 votes. My high school graduating class is 500 people.
Wow.
So that's how many people it takes to affect your local election. So I just want people to pay attention to that.
Man, that's why we're so glad that Killer Mike, that you do everything you do in the community, everything you do politically, and it's just you're like one of the few also hip hop artists that I love. That I think you seize the moment. Every time you get an opportunity to get a microphone, you say the right things. I've seen you do many conferences. I know you go to schools and speak and stuff, and we really appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it. We need another season of Trigger Warning, by the way.
I agree, man, and like the great philosopher Sugar Free says, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, man. So that is for y'all kids who don't know who he is, go Google that and go down the timeline, see how long Sugar Free been giving that Reverend Ike wisdom, man.
See, I was going to look at all these slave masters, posing on your dollar on my neck as my next tattoo. Now I'm gonna have to get that as my next tattoo, brother.
Listen, I got something before you even get the next tattoo. I want you to send us your sizes and the address, and we're gonna send you the Just T-shirt, which I designed.
Oh, okay.
So if you go on IG, you see I sit around and I doodle on dollars and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And man, my one of my managers was like, man, you know, really, you're an artist for real. So
Yeah.
we're gonna sell some of your art.
There we
So
go.
we put it on a T-shirt. We're selling it, and I'm going to do a show at some point next year where all the doodles people see me and all the photographs of toy cars and stuff. We're going to do something for charity where we sell it and make sure a good organization gets some money.
That's what's up, man. Killer Mike. Run the Jewels on all the platforms. Go out there and buy it, download it, whatever it is you got to do. It's an amazing album, Killer Mike. Before I let you go, man, my lineup is right now, but I might have to come on down to the shop.
Man, come see us at the swag shop.
Brother. I would love to go to the one in the arena, but I mean, I know there's one. You got more than one, right? So
there's one a mile and a half from the arena. Our flagship store, 365. When you come to town, come get your full shave, wash and groom. That's on me. And pick up some more T-shirts and stuff because we do merch out of there too. It is really dope. I'll tell you which Friday and Saturday come down, so we'll have Thanksgiving seafood truck out of there too. So make sure you let them know your info, and I'll reach out.
I sure will, man. Killer Mike, thank you so much. Much success as always. Keep doing your thing, brother. And I just love to see the growth. And like I said, you're just one of those members of hip hop right now that anytime you're somewhere, we're like, what's he gonna say? What's he gonna talk about? And your music is great. So can't wait to see you and LP put it on stage, man.
All right, man, I'm gonna get out of there. Last but not least, though, man, make sure you arrest the murders of Breonna Taylor, man. Let's keep that in mind. Keep our foot on their neck about that.
There we go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate that.
Love.
Love, all love, Killer Mike. That's what's up. Run them jewels right here. Kill from Addersville.
Yeah.